I do self-inquiry? To find out there's a no self.
Exactly. That's the answer.
So what is the difference between a mere thought and a storyline? Well, thoughts create the storyline. You put all the thoughts together and you got the storyline. Okay? They're not separate one from another. As stated before, if you do the practices, the mind will either begin to really slow down or it'll burn itself out. It'll keep revving faster for a time. But eventually it burns itself out. You can say what's the difference between a mere thought, or when it's a mere thought, is when it's really consciousness is still. And you may have a stray thought, maybe one or two during a day, that's it. But the rest of the time it's pure awareness. There are no streaming thoughts. Really, they stop. It ends. Okay? It ends. But if there are continual thoughts, one after another, then it's all your storyline playing out. Relation to your storyline, supporting it, trying to dissuade it, trying to fight with it. It's all about the same thing. Going to the past and projecting to the future, then the past, then the future. It's all caught up with your story of who you think you are, or who you think you want to be, or, it's endless. The mind has to eventually burn itself out. This is why you're given the practices. Some of them expand the consciousness, and some come along later to cut through some stuff. Okay? Or even the breath. So when this mind is revolving and in its spin, your focus is on the breath, not on the blah 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 that's going by. This is why we give you mantra. Your focus should be on the mantra. Your focus should be on the breath. The focus should be on the heart center. The focus should not be on the chatter. If you sit and watch the chatter, then you see how it really has nothing to do with anything. If you go on a Vipassana retreat, you're sitting in a room for 10 days. And yet the chatter will come up about everything. Old relationships, what they said, she said, yada, yada, yada. It has nothing to do with what you're doing at the moment, which is just sitting. So it's all storyline. All storyline. And you see just how much energy is wasted by minds that are just on this hamster wheel that's in perpetual motion for a time. And this motion has been going for a long time, so it takes time for it to eventually begin to slow down and lose momentum. But eventually it has to, if you keep at it in the right way, and could keep the practices going, eventually it will lose momentum and give up the fight and give up the ghost. And still. Anything else?
More to say on that?
Yeah.
Subject? Well, with the storylines, there's an identification with, there's a collection of, you identify with that. That's what I am or what I don't want to be. That's the difference between pure awareness and a thought or an idea even that floats through like a cloud with no attachment to it whatsoever. It's identified with as me or what I want to be or what I should be or what I should or shouldn't have done. There's me there, and that's the difference between a stray thought that floats through or an idea and pure awareness, pure consciousness. And that's the difference. And then it's grasped onto and all of that. And that's what keeps it in motion. It will be replayed again. So what is grasped to will be reborn again. Comes back again. Some other way, some other form. But when it's let go of completely, it never returns. Ever. And that's the difference. There's no one there to grasp it.
So if you really sit and you watch the mind, just watch it, you'll see these thoughts spring out of nowhere, and they go to nowhere. And they only have life when you're grasped onto them and give them attention. This is what happened in my own path, you know. I sat and finally the light bulb hit. I was going through lots of depression and suffering for a lot of years, and I finally one day looked and said, well, if it's even gone for a second, where did it go? Duh. Where did it go? So how much reality does it really have? How much reality does it really have? If it can be there one moment, and then the next minute you can be happy. If it were a genuinely real thing, then you wouldn't be able to get rid of it. It would never go anywhere, but it comes and goes. So what reality does it have?
If it had some substance, you could show it to us.
Right, but you can't.
Or tell us where it goes. Still haven't had anyone show us mind. Where is it? Where does it come from? Where does it go? Where?
Goes from nothing to nothing.
There's no distance. There's never been a distance. It's all the same. It's always just been here, and that's all.
So you begin to watch that, and you begin to see the fallacy of mind, and just how it's ruled the existence, and how one latches onto that and just cultivates that, and then grows emotions around that. Okay? Then it starts to feel more solid. And then the emotions and the mind feed one off the other. So eventually, in doing practices and stilling and just sitting, you begin to see this correlation, and you go, kind of like the commercial, I could have had a V8. You know, I've been all this time
going in circles.
Going in circles and getting myself all worked up and staying all worked up over something that goes to nowhere and it vanishes to nowhere.
And then you'll have a great laugh.
And then, yeah, eventually you laugh, you know, because you see the ridiculousness of what's been running the life. And the depressions, you know, and all this other nonsense that one stays stuck in. Yes?
Do thoughts create karma? I ask because thoughts, you know, seem to arise without any desire behind them. You know, it can always like, oh, where did that come from?
Well, if you act on the thoughts, karma can come out of it. If the thoughts, and you gravitate to it, and it precipitates an action, there will be a thought that comes in first of, oh, I don't have money. Oh, there's a bank. Oh, there's an opportunity. Maybe I'll go rob it and I'll get some money. So that thought preceded the action. Now you can either take the action or not take the action. The thought itself is not karma, but the action.
I think probably other people on the path can say that. Sometimes you can get some very disturbing thoughts that can come up very random. And
disturbing thoughts do come up.
Yeah.
You know, all of this stuff emerges as to your fears and what's been repressed and what's been gravitated to before and all of this stuff, yeah. That all emerges.
And that's why we say to sit with it.